Some food poisoning for thought on why school matters only occasionally. I've never been asked what my grades were. I have a colleague who didn't graduate high school. He was homeschooled. He has no GED, and it's never come up. He simply doesn't put his high school or anything on his resume, and no employer, no prospective employer has ever called him on it. Now, my brother-in-law has been asked about his grades quite extensively, and his school and all of that. But my brother has a PhD in chemistry, my brother-in-law. And so he's something of a specialist. But if you're not going to be an engineer or an astrophysicist or a chemist or something of a specialist, then graduating is probably more than enough. Now, there are useful skills in school, but I've never been asked to recall the generals at the Battle of Leningrad. It's never been relevant to know the difference between a Petrarchan and a Shakespearean sonnet. Rhyme scheme, and especially in the last two lines especially, by the way. It's never been relevant to know if I could solve a quadratic equation. It's never been relevant that I once dissected a sheep's eye. Knowing the difference between an endothermic and an ectothermic reaction, never been relevant to my life. There's stuff that has been, primarily basic math and basic English, but I learned that by the 7th grade. Now, I'm not saying don't learn. I'm not saying don't read. I'm not saying I didn't get a lot out of my social studies classes or my science classes. I did. Although, interestingly, accounting, a skill I have had to use ever since I graduated, was an optional course, and I didn't take it because it wasn't full math. So I took full math with its useless factoring and quadratic equations and polynomials and pre-calculus BS. Whole pile of rubbish when I could have been learning, this is how you invest your money, this is how you manage your finances. Isn't that an interesting thing? Also, what's been useful was the optional law course I took in grade 12. That's been really interesting to know. Been useful, been relevant, been a good conversation. Optional course. I don't know any of my classmates who took it amongst my regular friends. That's strange. So there were practical courses. They were optional. Required courses? Well, apparently it's essential to life that I read Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and Hamlet. Especially Hamlet. For some reason, Hamlet is essential to being an adult. I guess learning how to not get things done and then kill yourself is important. And of course, math. But not practical math, the really obscure math. Very important. I guess the thrust of all of this is adults are just faking it. And the most important skill you can learn in school is to fake it. Once you got that, now you're golden. I got a degree in literature without reading the books, so apparently I'm good at it. So chew on that.